What's up, guys? Michael Anthony here, popartapp.com. Today we are talking about music, as always. Today I have with me Liquid Modern, Tom.
Hello.
Or should I say Tom from Liquid Modern?
Tom from Liquid Modern.
Night Razor. How are you, Night? Jason.
Hello.
Chris, Electronic Ghost Machine. Thorisson.
Hello.
See you. How are you? And
Very
also
good.
WarpSektor and Mr. D of WarpSektor.
How's it going?
All right, guys. So we're going to start things off with Electronic Ghost Machine, Witchcraft. Basically, we're going to play the track, and we're going to come back from the track, and let's talk about it.
Who are you? Evil has triumphed over good here. I beg of you, leave before it is too late. Why have you come to White?
Well, because I'm interested in witchcraft. In witchcraft. Witchcraft. In witchcraft.
For years I struggled against the witches.
I find it very hard to believe, sir.
Why have you come to Whitewood?
Well, witchcraft. In witchcraft. Witchcraft. In witchcraft.
And it was kind of that drum and bassy feel, that horror synth drum and bass kind of, mix over. And I guess I don't listen to enough DMV to know whether or not they tend to use movie samples like that. So,
Yeah.
you get a little bit of that early industrial stuff too.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like old LTJ Bukem, kind of like in the breakdowns and stuff from my drum and bass jungle days. Yeah, it's really cool.
I like that it's a very dynamic mix as well. Sounds very good. It's big when it comes in on that drum and bass drop.
Yeah, I love the way the samples sit in the mix too. It feels very immersive coming in both ears.
That's a sample
Yeah,
from an old movie called City of the Dead. It's like from 1960. It's pretty cool. it holds up pretty well. I think it's pretty entertaining. I mean, you know, it's a little bit cheesy 1960s, but it's pretty sweet.
I like trains. No, I like drum and bass. And so the punch in the drums and your hi-hat work, I really like it, and I like the samples interspersed because they are kind of part of the drum beat, which is nice. So
how did that work with the sample? Like, did you come up with that after doing the music and stuff and just found it fit, or did it kind of guide where you were going with the song?
You know, that's a really good question. It's been a while since I recorded it. Usually what I do is I have at least 2/3 of the sort of song structure put together, and then I start coming back in and looking for snippets, you know, from a movie or whatever that seem to fit. And I experiment with, you know, what kind of tells a story and feels cool, creates a cool vibe. And then kind of rhythmically, it's nice to have something that fits rhythmically and like maybe even leads you into the next section of the song. So I think probably I had some tune put together before I dropped that in.
That was a really cool track, Chris. That was one of the first ones I heard of yours when I first started listening to your music.
Thanks, Mike.
Awesome track. Is that something like you worked on for the album, or is that just a single prior to the?
Yeah. Usually when I create stuff, I will do a whole batch at a time. I'll do multiple songs in like a burst. And then what I've been doing recently is, even if I record them all within a few weeks or whatever, I'll spread them out as singles because it seems to help with getting play on Spotify and stuff like that. But I really, from a listener's point of view, I really like an album. So what I've been doing is I'll release it as an album on Bandcamp, and then on the streaming stuff, I'll do singles, and then followed by like an EP altogether. But yeah, that was part of the Ghost Finder EP. So.
Awesome.
I was going to say, I noticed that a lot, I mean, when I picked up Sounds Kind of Cool, that I had a lot of the songs already, some of the songs for some reason already. So that was everything was released as a single first and then brought together into an EP, right?
Yeah, and there's actually a couple that still I haven't released on streaming yet. And that, like I say, it really seems to help the Spotify thing. If you guys aren't doing it, if you care about the Spotify streams, doing that and then doing the Spotify like algorithmic playlist pitch thing really helps, even if they don't pick you up, which I think is like really slim chances that you're going to be picked up for the playlist, but it automatically puts you on release radar. So then any people that follow you are automatically given the new tune. So it's kind of like just kind of a system you got to work. I think seems to work. I'm definitely getting way more algorithmic play than I was last time we talked about it.
I have a question. Do you play drums, or what gives you the motivation or like the structure for your beats? Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah, I do. I've played drums since I was probably maybe 14 or something like that. And which for me is only a few years ago. But so I played drums for a long time. So when I put stuff together, I'm super beat oriented. Lots of times what I'll do is like that song is a hybrid of stuff that I played and stuff that is basically kind of like in the box drum machine stuff. Some of the samples that I use are from my kit, like some of the snare drum sounds. But there's like some pre-programmed drums, and then there's also a loop of, maybe a 5 or 10 second loop of me playing some drums on there. The bongos I played on there. So it's a kind of a hybrid of looped actual recorded drums and stuff that's programmed.
Definitely adds an element of just like authenticity to the drums, if you will, like having that live loop, because often what you'll hear, like when someone full on programs the drums. And this is even on my tracks, you know, you'll just hear like it's just lacking personality. But these drums, they've got personality in here.
Oh, thanks, man.
Great energy.
Yeah, and those little dynamic changes that you really pick up when they're under something that's constant the whole time, and just like little tiny microsecond flaws come through and give it that authenticity. Yeah,
that's one of the things that I like about loops of anything, drums or whatever. I like it when you feel a little bit of little flaws or a little bit of humanity, something that repeats. So the ear can hear that it's a loop, kind of. Like what I don't like is, and I feel like a lot of modern production has this, where it sounds like a band, but it's perfectly flawless. And one of the things that I noticed is, like, if you create a loop and it's too clean, it stops sounding like electronic music. And it starts sounding like modern pop, which is just like perfectly produced. Everything's perfect and in place. And I think the listener's ear, like if you listen to some modern metal, for example, it's all so perfectly
triggering.
I think there's a lot of triggers and loops and stuff. And people are so used to hearing that, they think a band sounds like that now. And it doesn't sound electronic or artificial to the ear anymore. And I kind of like a little bit of artificial sound, a little bit of like the loop. I like to hear a sample.
You get to study
So
the
you're
sample.
saying
Yeah.
the more perfect it is, the more it sounds real. And electronic music, because it kind of evolved from that, loops or samples of James Brown and loops around that sort of thing. Since those had the built-in flaws, that sounds fake now?
It sounds electronic to me. And so, and which I like. Like it sounds like the technology is part of the creative process.
Yeah, my bad. I shouldn't have said fake.
Yeah, I mean, well, what I mean is, so like if you take a drum track and there's no, like, nothing unique about it, no error, no like shift in the time, no sound that repeats, it just sounds like, oh, that's just a perfect drummer playing it perfectly, which in a lot of ways is, I mean, that's fine if that's the kind of music that you're doing, but I'm not trying to do like pop music exactly, if you know what I mean. Kind of.
Do you ever play drum beats on the keyboard itself, like have a set so you can get the different velocities and stuff, or do you just manually write all those?
I never do that. I've experimented with it, and I don't really love it. So I either will do, like I say, I'll record something, or I'll pretty much program it in. I like to use Geist. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's an awesome plugin that pretty much has like a built-in drum machine with a typical kind of drum machine interface. And you can also drop in your own samples of anything. So like,
what is your dog eating, Chris?
Pepper, come here. What are you eating? Come on, talk to my friends.
Aww. Hi, sweetie.
Aww.
Pepper, this is Galileo. Let's see. There he is. He's feeling it. There he is.
Yeah, get it.
Oh.
Does Pepper produce your music?
Yes, Pepper is one of my advisors and consultants. Although when the drums are going, she doesn't like to be down here, but
no.
Quiet, she'll come and hang out.
Worse than a vacuum cleaner, I bet.
Yeah. And she's a big, giant, great game, but she's actually pretty timid with a lot of stuff. Like she will definitely run out of the room if the Roomba's going or you're vacuuming. She does.
It's giants.
Although she's a little bit fear aggressive with strangers, which is like great. Dog's 140 pounds. Please don't growl at the strangers. Like very scary. But she's good. She's awesome.
All right, who's next?
All right, guys. So next up we have Liquid Modern with Circle and Light. Let's check it out.
You don't decide when you grow up. It's all a construct of chance, happenstance, and such. Doctor, you will find only loneliness. Strength only leads to more weakness. It will take you years to discover what I found out in just minutes. Holding on to what I believed in, bowing to all the opinions, finding out you really don't matter. Wish I would have learned all the lessons. I wouldn't have to decipher. Go back to the start of the verse. Nothing is void of meaning. Sometimes it's so mixed up. Changing, you'll be given a label. Denial only makes this more painful. Don't take as long you're expected. You need to be calm and collected. Realization makes this uncomfortable. Going through it seems so personal. Everyone is taken away and given away. The lies become clear. I see the cliche. Holding on to what I believed in, bowing to all the opinions, finding out you really don't matter. Wish I would have learned all the lessons. I wouldn't have to decipher. Holding on,
Is it, you pronounce it Cojet or?
Yeah, Cojet.
Yeah, she's got such a recognizable voice. I love it. Like you can always hear like this is Liquid Modern in Cojet.
Yeah, she makes it what it is, man.
Yeah, sounds great.
Now, did she do all the
who
lyrics?
wrote the
Did she
lyrics?
write the lyrics, or
Yeah.
do you take?
Yeah,
turns?
so
Yeah.
basically the way it works is I'll come up with a little song and then kick it to her, and she comes up with all the lyrics, melodies, and all that, and then we come up and record and song. Yay.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
music first, then lyrics. That's a good. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you record the vocals?
On my iPhone. No. With that guy right there. Yeah, it's a warm audio condenser. But yeah, she'll just nothing special. I don't have any treatment to the room or anything. Because I've been a home producer for long enough. I just know what to do to make it sound all right. somehow. I don't really know how, but I just go here, microphone, sing, yay, and then little effects and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I like the way the vocals sit in the mix. Do you guys do all your own mixing and mastering, or you send it out?
No, Vaughn does mastering for us. I mix it and all that. But yeah, the sweet sauce is due to Vaughn for sure.
Cool. Very cool.
I would I know the vocals are the standout piece, but the support on the bass is phenomenal in my opinion. Are you a bassist first, or you know?
No, I'm a guitarist first, but I have played bass for lots of years. But yeah, I think that one on there is pure keyboard. Like programmed it and did just how I want.
But you still have to have that feel, and you definitely have the feel of a bassist that knows what the heck they're doing. So
Yeah, so Tom, that was off your current album, right? That was your first album?
Yep, our first full length. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Really cool. You guys have been doing good with
I
that.
like
too.
that.
I see there's 6 CDs
Starts off with that.
in stock.
Starts off with that real strong B50 sort of sound and everybody this year at NAMM is bringing back those wavetables. So that's you were anticipating it, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I was ahead of that. Yeah, I mean, really, like that's how they start. Is I just find a sound I like and play some chords I like, and then everything kind of like comes together from there.
Are you a keyboard player?
Yeah, I mean, piano is what I started with musically as a kid.
Right.
Took that for like 10 years, and then switched to guitar, and that's what I played like through my teens and 20s and all that, and then I started messing around with Cubase, I guess, like 20 years ago. Yeah.
When you're writing a song, do you usually start off with your synths, or you start with your bass line first? Like, what's your process like?
Depends. That one was definitely like I found that like e-piano sound that I liked, and just started messing around with chords. But sometimes I'll start with like I have an idea for what beat I want, and so I'll start there and then let everything kind of like follow after that. It depends on what the song wants.
How about the vocal melody?
That's all Cojet. And it's cool because the way she works, she doesn't want me to hear anything until we actually come up to record it. And it always works out. We have fix little issues in lyrics and things like that, but for the most part, what she comes up with is what goes on.
Why doesn't she want you to hear it before?
Because like she likes to work just in isolation. And I'm kind of the same way. Like when I'm writing a lot, I don't listen to other music. I don't want like outside inspiration a lot, so I'll like literally just listen to our music. So that's all that's in my head at the time. And she's kind of the same way. Like when she's working on lyrics, she's working on some right now actually. She focuses only on that for a couple of days, and so yeah, just that lack of influence, I think, is kind of a big part of what we do, of our sound.
Yeah, seems to be working for you guys.
Yeah, it's fun.
Does she? I know you said there's like some vocal treatments and stuff. I heard some reverb. I don't know if I heard some delay in there where like it echoed back and forth. But how do you guys decide to do that? Does she present that, or you're like, hey, this fits the song better? Or
yeah, typically like on that end of it, all the effect stuff, that's typically me. There's some things where specifically she's like, I want it to sound this way in this part, and typically it's a freaking awesome idea that I wouldn't have thought of. And that's like, she knows about music, but she's not a musician like I am. And so I think that's a lot of her strength. She doesn't get all bogged down in all the like theory and all that kind of stuff that I do, where she can just be more pure and free with it.
Yeah. Hey, make it sound like this, and then you have to figure out how to get it there, but you know what she's talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, we're married. We've been married for 15 years now, so we know how each other think and talk. And we're both got the same quirks, so we've figured it out by now, kind of.
Yeah, that's cool.
Next.
With my mustache, before we get to the next one, with my mustache having fallen off, and I'm looking at it in gallery view now, it takes me back to, I think it was the Electric Company. And see if you guys remember the song
Yep.
One of these things is not like the other.
Jason, did we lose your feed?
Oh,
Yeah,
The
it's just
video.
He doesn't want to be seen without his mustache.
It's like completely
Yeah.
understand.
come on. I don't know
Feels
what it did.
underdressed now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back having grown a full mustache.
I like the
real
zoom
mustache.
in.
Yeah.
The zoom in is great.
Yeah.
So, guys, as
All
you
right,
can
who's
see,
next?
we all have mustaches in this episode. Some of them are attached to our beards. Let's play a little game. Whose mustache is real? Let's see. leave a comment below. Leave a comment below. Whose mustache is real and whose is fake?
You'll never guess.
Wait, which of us actually have mustache now that Night Race is out? It's like 3 of us.
Well, it depends on if you count the bearded mustache. You know,
Some of them
Yeah.
are
like
attached to the
Mr.
beard.
D there.
Yeah.
I think he's got
Well,
a fake one over a
No,
real
that's not a
one. which I
mustache,
think
is it? It's like you could say, you know, Michael, you got a chin strap.
Yeah.
It's attached to your beard. You know, it doesn't work like that. I'm afraid.
Yeah. Okay.
I just have a
Mustache
solar
by proxy.
Those are the rules. So then I think it's only you, Thorisson, with those rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, but which is real? Thorisson? I think it's fake, to be honest with you. I think that guy's
Yours is
mustache is
fake?
fake.
Yours is
Yeah,
You think
Thorisson's
yours is
mustache
fake?
is fake. Yeah.
Tug on it. We got to see.
So, he says he glues it on though. I don't know. That could be
Oh
painful.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I can pull it if you want. It's real. It actually hurts quite a bit. Or maybe I'm lying to
Actually
you.
hurts quite. Mine does too.
Oh god.
Oh no, your skin's moving surprisingly much by that small tug you just did.
The WarpSektor guys have done something that I think is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Is when somebody puts on a fake mustache over facial hair. You know. It still
Like
stands
you died-
out, but
you
it's
died your mustache.
You don't know who I
Yeah.
am anymore. That's the best
Makes
part.
it-
I'm a completely
Can't
different
recognize
person. This is my
It makes it
disguise.
realistic.
It's very suave, Mr. D. Looks very suave.
Thank you.
Man of mystery.
Okay, guys, so up next is Michael J. Cruisin' by WarpSektor. Let's check this one out.
Well, did you guys all pick like these sax featuring songs just because you know who our special guest is?
No,
Yeah, tell us about that sax.
that's just bog standard Logic 10 Pro saxophone with a little bit of wetness to it. And
Yeah, I was wondering if that was real or not. It sounds pretty real.
Yeah, it's pretty close to, but it's a more orchestral sounding one. I want to pick up a plugin that sounds a little bit more gritty and 80s, but that's the closest I can get right now with the plugin I have. So, but we made that song on stream, me and WarpSektor, and then usually what happens is it gets down mixed to like a wave, and he sends it over to me, and I get to do some leads and stuff. So that was one I added on over top, but and I think some of the other little wormy synth leads in there are me over top of it as well. He likes to do the drums and the bass and the atmosphere and the changes and stuff. So and we usually work on that on stream.
Yeah, I mean, it literally sounds like. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
No, I was just going to ask what he meant by wormy. Is it the one that was kind of like the wow, the talk boxy kind of?
Yeah, little vocal synthy filter on there.
Yeah, I love the patch selection in this track. It's it's got everything from the '80s without sounding like like a king from the '80s. Well, from the '80s. But yeah, and you've got patches that reminded me of even like Bon Jovi and of Aha, and some maybe even Murray had some. But yeah, I mean, you nailed so much into this and kept it so original at the same time.
Yeah, you got to ask WarpSektor about the drums. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it literally sounds like it should like be in Cruisin' USA. Like I could see myself sitting in that big thing, hitting the radio buttons to get to that song.
Yeah, I went full nostalgia trip on that one because I remember playing it. I was a mall rat growing up, arcade kid, and I remember sitting down at that arcade machine for hours just playing. And it kind of, as I went into the first part of that song that we made was the drawbar synths, that kind of rock synth, that dun, dun, dun. And that just kind of was flying in my brain. I was like, all right, I like these chords, and then we just kind of went from there. But that's that's what that came.
And that wind noise, I think we had like a noise generator. We threw like an EQ sweep on it just to get that kind of breezy sound in there, which kind of helps it. Yeah.
Where'd the name come from?
Well, that comes from Twitch chat. So if you ever want to hang out with us on Twitch, you can influence our music. But yeah, we were talking about, like, there was a conversation about Comtrues and a lot of those other artists where they flip, San Holo and stuff like that, where they flip it. So people were just throwing out names, or like, what is the most ridiculous one? It was Fikel J Mox, and we're like, yeah, but it reminds us of Cruisin' USA so much. How can we fix this? So it's just Fikel J Cruisin' USA. There you go.
But mash it all together.
Yeah, it was a conglomeration of a stream where people were loving it and having a good time and just throwing stuff out there, and everybody was participating and throwing all, Bevan Kakin and whatever you could think of, just throwing names out there.
And you got some really clever use of reverb to create kind of space in the mix as well, sounds like. So
yeah, I tend to overdo it a little bit. So as we're going through, the mixing that we do happens while we're writing the song. So I'm actually I'm in there adding reverb to individual tracks and tweaking it, so I can feel how things sit in the mix. And I'm sitting there with this thing on loop over and over and over again, and Mr. D is usually like, all right, stop. If it's too much, stop. But yeah, so we play.
Never had too much reverb.
Oh, also
those leading. Go ahead.
Also, just to add to the reverb thing, I watched an entire video on like how they used to do reverb in the old days with a room and the microphone and the speaker with springs with all this different stuff.
Yeah.
And the plate was the one that got to me, and I'm like, how is the plate working? Well, the way the plate works is the waves echo off the edges of a square piece of metal with transducers on it that record it. And what makes it sound so iconic and good, it's usually in the basement, like this huge plate, but when you play a note, it gets darker as it decays. And so what I did is we came up with a custom plate reverb in Ableton where it has an envelope follower. So as the note is louder, it's brighter, but as the note falls off, it gets darker. And that gives you that plate, that real plate reverb feel, like you got a real huge metal plate in the basement echoing all your music through it. So
Definitely awesome, guys. I remember joining your Twitch chat the other day. We had definitely a fun time. Yeah, I had some other. I think there was another track in there that sounds awesome as well too.
Yeah, we were what we were working on Escape Velocity. It's our 9-minute magnum opus, I think, is the one.
Okay. Yep. And that one just came out last month too, right? Michael J. Cruisin'. That was a release from May, I believe, right?
That's our
around the
latest
same
single.
time. Yep.
Yeah,
right
that's
around
our
the
latest
same time.
single.
Right around the same time as Liquid Modern's release too, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing kind of the monthly schedule leading up to the next album, so.
Okay, guys. So coming up next is Night Razor with Godslammer. Here we go.
quality.
It looked pretty synced to me. It looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was synced.
I love this. I love this
Yeah,
video.
it's really-
He's just going around banging and stuff. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Love that. Yep.
Using the city as an instrument. Yeah. I
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. Yeah.
It works. It fits the vibe of the song. It's like very dark, very kind of grungy, but it's also like Depeche Mode.
Yeah, I mean, the video. I mean, I wanted the look that Cam FDM had for one of their older ones. Which one was it? I forget. But yeah, it's like I saw that and I thought, oh yeah, I could do something like that. But I wanted to change it up. So played everything, beat on everything.
What about the monkey piano?
Yeah,
What?
that was awesome. That was my favorite
Yeah, that
part.
was cool.
Where did that come from? Like, did you record that?
The piano?
Yeah, the little monkey piano.
Yeah. The monkey piano. Yeah, that was just a performance one over just a different set. I think that what I did to get that break was I just switched the presets. I didn't use all analog drums. I used vintage drums. So that would have been a D4, an Alesis D4, and it has preset sets. So what I did was I just accidentally bumped it to a different preset set, and it sounded kind of weird. I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll take that, and that became the break, and then put the piano over the top of it. So, but yeah, it's just a plain old.
When you record, what's your process? Do you lay down the drums first, or you work into a click track? Because like a lot of what I do is like in the box. So, but I know a lot of what you do is analog. So, do you have to deal with like thinking MIDI and like how do you handle all that?
Yeah, I mean there's so little difference between in the box and using MIDI though, because it's they're essentially all USB peripherals now. A couple of my older machines, yeah, I have to use USB to MIDI converters, and the older ones don't always play with the off-the-shelf ones. You have to play around until you find a combination that works. But the process is generally I'll start with a riff or an idea. With Godslammer, it was that I started with that. Essentially it's one bass that it kind of sounds like a guitar in the end, and then I thought that was going to be the bass.
And dude was like, there's another person in the shot.
That was some excellent zooming work.
Good job, Leo. You're in the show. Yeah. And then, the bass. And once you have a bass riff or something like that, once you have one riff, it pretty much knows where the drums pretty much tell you what they need to be from there. That's the way I look at it. Other times, I will start with a drum line, but normally, if you have a tempo, if you have a drum line, then that's a good enough place to start, and you can move something over. But that doesn't make the song. You have to have the idea for the song. You have to know what you want to do with it. To build from there.
Where did you get those metallic tube drum noises from? Because that was pretty iconic there. I really liked when you were playing those.
Those obviously. Okay, first off, none of the sounds were the sounds that were represented in the video.
But I mean, represented in the video, that's what they were. But what was it actually? I mean,
that again, that was probably the D4. And I don't think I used anything but I used the D4, and then I used the Behringer 808 some, and then the Drum Brute Impact for the drums on the Bleeding Edge of Night. And I'm gonna make people sick with it.
Cameron doesn't know who
I'm gonna get seasick with it. But yeah, the ones where I'm beating on the tubes, those are a D4. Probably, I think it has an industrial preset that would have come from.
Okay, cool.
You've got me wanting to sample what it would actually sound like to have the massage gun on metal now. I really want to try that.
I'll tell you what, I will send Mike the raw video from that part of the shoot, so that he can drop it in if he wants to.
Awesome.
And Jason, that was on your album, right? Leading Edge of Night?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Hold on, Bandcamp.
Tonebox is doing a remix of that for me. I don't know when it's going to be ready, but no, careful. Okay. But yeah, hopefully that'll come out before the next album. So.
Okay, guys. So we have Thorisson's up next with Rise Up. I'm going to show the video for this as well too. Let's check it out.
Like the calm before the storm, rising up in the lonely night. Break free from inside your mind. Take your wrongs and make them right. See the fire before your eyes as they break the chain. Stand up as we are one. Together we are strong. Rise up and touch the sky. There's more than meets the eye. Rise up and touch the sky. Come with me now, don't be shy. I might tell you that you are wrong, make you feel like you don't belong. But believe that you're not alone. We're here to make them go. See the fire before your eyes as we break the chains. Stand up as we are one. Together we are strong. Rise up and touch the sky. There's more than meets the eye. Rise up and touch the sky. Come with me now, don't be shy. Come with me, Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up and touch the sky. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up and touch the sky. Rise up, rise up, rise up and touch the sky. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up and touch the sky.
I love the band footage. That effect looks great.
Band footage, yeah. There's it was actually, most of it is actually true. We had that drummer, the same drummer that did the recorded drums, although he used pad and stuff. And then the guitarist is a different guitarist, because but we still had the actual guitar recorded on there.
And then the in the video, that was you pulling in on the sax, right? It was hard to see, with the resolution that we have here.
Yeah,
over Zoom,
that's
but okay.
that's me. It's just before I bleached my hair and grew a mustache. This was 2019.
That was so much
To bleach
fun.
my hair and grow a mustache too, but I don't know if I have enough hair to even do it.
You will never know unless you try.
True.
I,
So what was
I
the
love-
process of that one, Thorisson?
The song or the video?
The song.
It actually, I think I started writing it. It was in because I did the music production course in uni, and it started off in a songwriting class, and then I just kept adding stuff to it. With the brass was probably the first thing that came in, and it's actually just native instruments.
Is it? Yeah, I was wondering where that was from. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I played the sax over it and added just an extra layer of that.
Yeah.
Really nice hook. I really like the chorus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's got almost a Madonna quality to it, but then, yeah.
Well, especially that
very
gospel
modern
kind of breakdown where we the gospel breakdown. Like it almost feels like that one song that I can't remember the name.
Like a Prayer?
Right. Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
I'll
your main
be honest, that was
instrument?
inspiration, that song. Like I was listening to it quite a bit at the time of making it, so you can see why that kind of bled into it.
Yeah. Well, it works really well in that.
What's your main instrument, Thorisson?
Want to take a guess? I do like picking up the saxophone whenever I can. Keyboards. I try to play them, but I'm not really good. So the saxophone for sure.
Cool.
You-
So
did
your
you
main thing
have all
is
the
you're
theory
a
and
sax
stuff?
player, but supported by keyboard and just general understanding of sort of songwriting, music theory type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, all of my theory, I mean, my traditional music theory is pretty much non-existent. I just learned it all by drawing in MIDI, basically. That's how I learned notes.
Well, you
And
have some
then I
jazz
started learning
comp
the
too,
piano
don't you?
and the saxophone. What's that?
I mean, you got some jazz comp, don't you?
Oh, jazz. Honestly, the jazz, I just wing it. I have no idea of anything jazz related. I just try and hope for the best.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's the definition
That's
of
jazz.
That's what you
That's
jazz
a
is,
pretty
yeah.
good point, but the jazz musicians, they always have like scales that you can go to,
Yeah.
right? It's like always weird fucking scales that they have, that they just know them. And I'm just
Your
like,
modal speeds.
crazy chords, all sorts of crazy,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I guess that's a charm in it, isn't it? You can just do it and call it jazz, no matter what it is, basically.
Well, what did you study at uni then?
I did music production.
Okay, production. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
The video itself seems like there was a lot of work put into that. How long did that take you guys, and
God.
how'd you decide on the cast and everything?
So most of them were just people from uni that I knew. The guy was in the tank top. I still actually have that tank top. I wear it quite a bit. That guy was an actor that I just I put out an ad in a Facebook group. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll be that guy. I hope he's doing well now. He was doing acting and stuff. Hope he's made it. He's a funny guy. But then, yeah, it took about probably just writing it all down because we knew we only had that gym for 1 day, so we had to get it right. Writing it that's the day, creating that kind of a storyboard, and then there's the recording. We actually got the recordings down in overall maybe 12 hours for all of them.
Looks like it was a really fun shoot.
It was tiring as hell, but it was really really fun. Yeah.
I've noticed about your music, it's got a very uplifting and like just positive vibe to it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I've tried making sad songs, but I've never I'm just not sad enough.
I try to make
that's
happy
fine.
stuff. It ends up sad, so it's the other way around. For me.
Yeah, Thorisson definitely have that synth pop sound. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, the
Your
horn
track,
sections,
like that.
not the synth section, or not the sax section, but the horn sections, that really takes you back to a very specific, 1984, 1985, that horn usage with those stabs like that was pretty popular. And I that's something that I like seeing come back. I want to see more people, remember parts of the 80s like that if they're going to emulate the 80s.
Yeah, I do love a good stab, and the intention with the stabs was never actually to go and find an 80s sound, but it just ended up in that way. and it worked for the song anyway. So
It worked, yeah. That's the point, though.
yeah.
Well, I had a question kind of about like the lyrics and the singing. Like, did you write that, or did you guys have a vocalist at the time, or did you just use somebody as a sample, or how did that work?
Yeah, so that's vocalist is Amanda there. Her name is. She's in a band called Bash, which are a really, really good band. And she did have some say in writing the lyrics. You know, we did like a session and she had like a, you know, something like this, something like that. But it was mostly pre-written by myself and a couple of other guys from that songwriting class that we did. So she kind of then came in and made it, you know, good.
So that's her in the video then?
Yep, that's her.
All right, cool.
Do you generally collaborate with other people or write all your own stuff?
I love collaborating. Most of my songs are collaborations. And I have written lyrics. Usually I like not having to write lyrics because it's hard. And yeah, so collaborations are always the go for me.
I feel like, I mean, if you're going to have a lyricist, it's probably better to have the person who writes the lyrics be the one who's going to be singing them, because they'll feel it more.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It always works that way.
You find that collaboration just kind of comes easier for you, or is it tough sometimes?
It has been. You know, there have been some in the past that just don't work out, and you end up with this half-finished song that no one really has anything to do with, because it's just like the chemistry isn't there, something like that. So it isn't.
What are you trying to say, Dr. Sector? What are you trying to say right now?
I'm going solo now.
Who was the you had another collab, I think it was just this week or last week, was it? Who was that with, and tell us about that song?
Oh, Bad Energy, me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's with Siri Lynn. We go back to uni as well. Actually, most of my collaborations have been with people from uni, so it's a good time there.
Where did you go to school?
Yeah, no, like she lived in Norway, so most of that was some, you know, online, just exchanging stuff. And
Where'd you go to uni at?
Southampton, England.
So you're comfortable there. It's like being back at school almost.
Kind of, although I don't live in Southampton anymore. Like I go and visit. No. You know, a lot of people actually still live there. But yeah, it does feel kind of like, you know, you go there and it's like, yeah, like going back to my hometown or something.
Perfect. I guess we're gonna wrap up the show.
Excellent.
Everyone, again, guys, leave comments below. Let us know who wore the real mustache. Jason had a conversation, but no. We'll say.
Why don't we have a mustache pull competition? Let's all pull our mustaches.
Mustache pull I was trying to put mine on, Leo.
Competition. Whoever pulls their lip.
Nothing.
Mr. D.
I got a hair.
Mr. D's came off. Who's else?
I lost.
Oh no.
That's a big shock. I was not expecting this to happen.
Now we see everyone's true identity.
Thorisson, dude, I want to say it's really cool to actually talk to you with my voice, like see you talking back instead of like typing to you.
Same.
As it's always been. It's really nice to finally get to talk with you this way.
It really is. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys.
It was good to meet you.
So glad to have you, bud.
Guys, again, all music you heard in this show you can check out on Bandcamp. It's also on YouTube as well too. You can stream it. Everyone has their stuff on Spotify as well too, pretty much, right? Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So we'll wrap up this episode. Let's talk music. Maybe we'll have something else in the future. We'll see. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Again, WarpSektor, Liquid Modern, Electronic Ghost Machine, Night Razor, special guest Thorisson for this episode. Thanks, guys.